Hello, everyone. Welcome to the $1,000 a month business blueprint. I am so excited that you're here. I hope that you have also downloaded the PDF, that you have something to look at as you go about your life. The goal for this workshop for me is to help entrepreneurs understand that even though you know what to do in your business and you find yourself struggling, it is not your fault. And there is something that you can do about it to change that. You do not have to quit your side hustle. You do not have to quit your network marketing. You do not have to quit hope of the vision that you had in mind for whatever business you're actually in, whether or not you're in network marketing or you are actually in industry, in real estate, or in any other kind of business where you sell anything primarily online. Okay, so here is what's normally the real problem for people. You know what to do, but somehow you just cannot find yourself doing it. You know how that you're supposed to have some kind of a lead generation. You know that you're supposed to be posting something. You know that you're supposed to have conversations with people and talk to them. And you're supposed to follow up. You're supposed to make your offers and ask people to look at your opportunities, all the stuff, right? Bottom line, you know you're supposed to sell. And somehow everything else gets in the middle of it. Life gets into the middle of it. Kids gets into the middle of it. The situation, like, you just don't have time, right? You just don't find the time. And that is not a coincidence, my friends. That is because your nervous system is starting to put a block on it because you have something that's called a survival mode. Okay? Survival mode gets triggered by people when there's certain things that you're afraid of. You might see procrastination because that's what we all talk about, and then you let yourself off the hook because you think, oh yeah, I'm just a procrastinator. You're slapping on labels on top of you. However, those labels are really nonsense because they are just there to excuse what's really happening. Now, in Walk It Free, I like, if you have not known yet, I like to dive a little bit deeper. Labels are one thing. I know that we call ourselves a procrastinator. I know that we say we are overwhelmed. I know that we say we really just don't know what to do. I know that, we have all these kind of things. But for me, it's actually something that's deeper because I know that you are capable of doing it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that little seed inside of you, that little seed of hope. God put that into you because He knows that you can handle it. And it's up for us to figure out how we can make this happen. And this is what we're talking about in this workshop specifically, because I really want you to have the tools, right? God gives us ingredients, so to speak, and we have to learn how to bake the cake. And that is different for everyone. And that is why some people seem to succeed all the time and some people just have a harder time. It's because you have different ingredients than somebody else, right? So somebody already maybe has a dough and all they need to do is put that into little cupcakes, or maybe somehow some of them already have cupcakes baked and they only need the frosting on top of it. And so for them, everything seems to work out. And then there may be you that has butter and milk and eggs, and maybe we need to buy the eggs from the store. Maybe we don't even have the eggs just yet, right? And it doesn't mean that you cannot bake a cake or cupcakes or whatever it is that you want. So, long story short, how do we do this? Where do we even start? Because there is so much that the uplines do not teach you, okay? They say and teach you the DMOs. They say you need to sell, you need to post, you need to do X, Y, and Z. But what happens when you can't? What happens when you don't find time? What happens and how do we solve that? And that is what I am here for today. Okay, so let's start. I like to teach something that's called the Maslow hierarchy of needs. When you look at my program, Walk It Free, it's always about heal, connect, and level up. Those are the three different units. The heal unit is because there are thoughts in our paradigm. The paradigm is your computer system that runs subconsciously within your body all the time. It's there all the time. You know how when you open up your computer, somehow it knows the operating system, somehow it knows what to do, somehow it knows all these little things that we really are not conscious about. That is your paradigm. Your paradigm has stored information on it, such as, thoughts, values, principles. What are values and principles? Values is what you believe in and what your family believed in. Principles is what you actually do with those values, right? How do you execute those? What habits do you have? Those are principles. And so those things are being stored in your paradigm. Now, when you follow your generational path, your paradigm is at ease, right? You are probably doing the same thing your grandma did and your mom did and your family did and all the things, and everybody's happy. Entrepreneurs, however, are trying to push the envelope, right? We are trying to get out. We're trying to do things that are not necessarily the quote, right? The normal state of everyone else in our surroundings. So of course now our paradigm is on high alert and says, whoa, 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 wait a minute, hang on a second. What are you trying to do over here that's not from what we have stored in our hardware? Okay. And that is where the paradigm, the mind, can actually start creating issues and puts you into a survival mode for fight, freeze, and fawn modes. If you have heard of nervous systems and the nervous system responses, the fight, the flight, the freeze, and the fawn mode, that is what can happen. Now, back to the Maslow hierarchy of needs. In the Heal unit, I teach you how to take care of your physiological needs. Why is that important for entrepreneurs? Because of that nervous system. So when your paradigm is on high alert, when your system, your environment is also maybe chaotic and putting you into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode, all these things will stress your nervous system. And when your nervous system is on survival, nothing extra is going to happen. So if you're trying to post something and you start realizing I have brain fog and I can't even think a straight thought, that's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because your nervous system is on survival mode and it's put on a freeze option, or it put on a fawn option, that you are somehow posting something, or you're attending those Zoom calls, or you are like in your trainings, but you're not really sending out the messages. This is a fawn mode where you work, but you're not really working. Or maybe you are just, fleeing, right? Flee response would be that maybe you're procrastinating. Maybe you are always busy. You're always busy. They have just zero time to do your business. That is not that you don't have time. Everyone has time for this. Because in fact, when you have skills, when you know what to do, and when you have zero fears, you are able to do the activity that you need to do within the nooks and crannies of your day. That is a fact. That is possible for those with a regulated nervous system. See, they teach you this in class and in your network meetings, all that stuff. They say, oh, this business is so great and we can do it in the nooks and crannies of our day, which we can. It's not a lie. However, only if you are organized, meaning your physiological environment is in control. Not just your home, not just your yard, not just your children's curricular activities, but also your digital side of things, your leads that are coming in, the how to qualify those leads, the how to store your content, how to repurpose your content, how to build a brand that aligns with you. There is so much that goes into building a business these days, that is where a lot of people are already getting overwhelmed. A lot of people are starting to freak out a little bit and start thinking this is way, 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 way too much. Okay. So physiological needs is not just your health and your wellness and your environment and the home, but also your digital environment and your mental environment. All these things are what we address in our Heal unit of the Walk It Free program, in my mentorship program. So physiological needs need to be handled. Then the next step is the safety. Okay, safety, because remember how I talked about the nervous system. If the nervous system is under survival, your brain just will shut down. Your brain won't care about growth. They won't care about visibility or sales or anything else, because the only thing your brain is going to do is wondering, am I safe? Okay, am I safe? That's it. So if you have not healed your environment, your physiological needs, your thoughts, your paradigm misfunctions there. It's not a misfunction. I mean, your family is still your family, and your family is not to blame. Your family is probably great. But entrepreneurship is a whole new beast, right? So if you want to break out of that, there are probably certain things that need to be aligned in your paradigm. So that's that. Secondly, so heal. Second is connect. Okay, that's what you need to do next before you can make the $1,000 a month. Because in order to do that kind of income, $1,000 plus, or even if you are a leader that has already made $1,000 a month, and now you have a team and you need to duplicate them, that's the same thing. Because for them, see, this is the same situation. They are probably frozen or fleeing away or fighting or fawning as well as you had been. So your job as a leader then will be to help them to get through their stuff. Okay. And that is not that easy all the time, right? That's not that easy. So in the Connect unit, what I do with people and what I suggest you do, because that is the foundation, right? On a solid foundation, you can build any high rise you want. You can build the whole city of Chicago if you have a solid foundation. But if you don't, if you built your business on sand, meaning you're pretending online, you're having filters on it, you're looking great when your life outside of business and online will fall apart, if that's what happens for you, you're not going to stick with it. It's a sandy foundation that is going to erupt at some point, and all of it is going to crumble down. So you need to spend some time to get your ducks in a row, and not just have all the chickens everywhere, but you need to literally really have your ducks in a row. And that is by our Connect, where we deal with where we are mentally. What season are we in? What are our values? Not the values that are stored in your paradigm, but your values that are actually yours. Okay, your values today. That is what it is. Your values that you really want to design your life with. What do you want the principles to be? How do you want them to show up in your life? See, my mission for the Walk It Free method and for the Walk It Free movement is to teach people to take steps towards a life they won't regret. Taking steps towards a life you won't regret is so vital, not just for building a business, not just for your family, not just for you personally, but what is the ultimate worst thing that can ever, ever, ever happen to you? If you cannot make this work, right? Your business or your life in general, what ails you at this moment? What if you cannot make this work? You are going to have regrets in the end of your life. You're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to look back and you're going to say, I wish I could have done this. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have had this. I wish I could have. And that pain is the worst pain that I can ever, ever, ever imagine. And this is how Walk It Free got born. I watched and witnessed my mother pass away from ovarian cancer. And that was exactly what happened to her. She had so many regrets. That ovarian cancer was sneaky and it showed up out of the blue on stage 4 and nobody had ever a clue. And she had no more time. She was, from one day to another, she was out of time. There was nothing she could have done. Okay. And I watched her and I watched this whole situation. And that is when I realized, I was like, there's no way that I want to do this. I want to live a life that I don't regret. And I want to teach my children how to live a life they won't regret. And unfortunately, we all need money to do that, right? So that's why we are in entrepreneurship, because somehow we need the money. We need to be able to pay for what we need and what we want. And that's why we have the side hustle. That's why we are trying to be on commission. That is why we are doing these things. And nobody really wants to admit to that. But when you see this transformation that I offer people, it really is not just another course that you're learning. It's not just another business that you're getting. It is actually a life transformation, a revamp, because overall, I want to help people to do and take the steps to a life they won't regret. So healing, right? The healing, now we're in the connection part. In connection, we are working on authenticity. What is our values? What is our principles? What do we want to show up like? How do we want to be online? Who do we want to talk to? What is our ideal audience? When they talk about your personal brand and that you need to show up in a certain way and you need to be authentic, right? How do you even do that? How do you even be authentic? No one wants to teach you that. Well, I want to teach you that. So that is basically what we are doing. We are then finding ourselves, connecting with who we are, connecting with who we can serve. What is our gift, right? God is giving you a gift. And that is what you need to give away. That's the whole purpose of it. And in return, you will receive blessings. If you show up in the marketplace and you are going to just want to take from people, they energetically will feel that. And energetically, they will say no to you and they will reject you. And here's what we do different in the Walk It Free movement. We learn how to be ourselves. We learn how to be happy. We learn how to be regulated, aligned, and calm in our nervous system. And from that angle, you are now discovering, because you see your mental load will like decrease. And when you decrease your mental load, you will expand the download options, the alignment options, the what do I even want to do options, the hey, what feels good to me and what doesn't feel good to me, learning how to set boundaries, learning how to live a life that you won't regret. That is what we're doing in the Connect unit, okay? And then from there, it's going to be the third unit, which is the level up unit, the growth unit. Because wherever you are on your journey right now, there is always a next step that you need to take. There is more content that you need to create. There's more followers that you need to deal with. There's more courses. There's more funnels. There's more scripts. There's more hustle. There's more life to live. There's more enjoyment to have. There's more peace to find, right? There is all these different things that you need to do. So as you are building your business, I'm sure that you have asked yourself questions like, when you think about reach outs, right? You know you're supposed to have leads in. What if they reject me? What if I'm annoying? What if they don't respond? What if they judge me? What if I fail? What if I succeed and now people accept more from me? And you're already overwhelmed. You already have too much on your plate. And now out of the sudden, everybody wants more from you. That's actually the fear of success. People don't want to do that work because they are afraid that if everything works out, then out of the sudden it'll be way too much and I'm already way stretched thin. Okay? Really? I mean, you find you can see yourself in this, right? And I know you can, because you are not alone. I was there too. And what happens now when you have these thoughts, again, your nervous system is going to shut you down depending on what your unique style is going to be. And then it shows up in procrastination, or it shows up in perfectionism, for example. Maybe you are like trying to make all your graphics super great. Maybe you are changing your bios all the time, something that keeps you moving, pretending that you're actually doing it, but it doesn't. And the way how we heal these things in our healing unit, and it's an ongoing mentorship, by the way, because see, growth is not one done stop shop thing. It's something that every level, it's kind of like stairs, and every level you have a new devil, right? Every level you have a new level up. So you heal something and you learn something, now you apply it, because you cannot only just learn. If you only learn, then you are never going to get somewhere. So you have to learn something, connect with, is this authentically feeling right, and is it aligned with myself? And then you put in actions into place and you practice this out and you feel it, because you want to feel whether or not it feels authentic to you. Okay. And my program is not just teaching you how I feel authentically. No, my program is teaching you how to feel it yourself by recognizing your trigger. When you heal, you have to recognize your trigger. You have to figure out, is posting an issue? Is messaging an issue? Is following up an issue? Is selling an issue? Is going live an issue? Is going to be visible an issue? What is it? And then separating this discomfort from the danger. Okay, so that's when you start becoming aware of, like, is this actually dangerous? Am I going to die if I hit post? Am I going to get off a social cliff if I hit post? Or is this an unrealistic fear that my nervous system is putting up to keep me safe from something? Now, when we don't want to do that, it's often because we don't have confidence that we can actually stand even when we are rejected. And that is one of the things that I've learned over the Walk It Free development of this brand. Was I traveled a lot, and if you've stuck around for a little while, you've probably seen me travel a lot with my kiddos in a travel trailer, and like seeing everything and going, this was not done by accident. This was done on purpose, not because we love travel and we like to see everything. It was actually a very deliberate thing for me to do, because I needed to prove to myself that I could build a home anywhere and everywhere. I am somebody that grew up very codependent in a narcissistic home. And I was very, very scared all the time to do things by myself, because I was seeking approval all the time. And the seeking approval actually got me burned out once, because I worked and worked and overworked so hard that I never got this approval, and I was really devastated, and I was burnt out, and it was hard. It was really, really hard. And so now I teach alignment versus burnout, alignment versus hustle, okay? Because the hustle alone is not going to get you where you need to go. It's just going to get you burnt out. But if you align and you take steps specifically to what you need, okay? Because I'm somebody that loves overworking. I needed to teach myself to put on the brakes just a little bit. Um, some people need to work a little bit more. I was somebody, literally, I needed to learn how to just be, to let downloads come. I needed to learn how to eliminate discomfort by actually putting myself into the situation of not doing anything for a little while. And so the traveling actually helped me do exactly that. And it also helped me to adjust to learning life anywhere, all the time, by myself. New situation, new situation, new situation. And so slowly but surely, I was building these pathways that gave me confidence, that said, oh, if X, Y, and Z happens, I can do X, Y, and Z. Okay. And that's how confidence gets built, not just in your private life, but also in your business. So when you find and become aware of where your pain is, where your scaredness is, your fear is, what's symptomatic, like what your nervous system is giving you, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, then you're going to be able to deal with that and put in action. So heal, connect, and then level up, put in specific actions to move you further and through this discomfort. Everyone says, oh, your success is on the outside of your comfort zone. On the other side, you got to go, but nobody teaches you how to actually go through it. Walk It Free mentorship actually teaches you how to do it. That is why my mentorship is so different than any course that you have ever taken. It is so different than what your upline is teaching you or what your network marketing company or your boss is telling you. Because I am not teaching you, yes, I am telling you and answering questions on how to build a brand and how to do lead generation and how to do basic sales. But what's really more important is for me to help you to actually learn you and rebuild the person within you so you can develop confidence, so you can develop peace and a really happy energy because you are at peace within yourself and not always in survival mode. Okay, so healing, connecting, and then comes up the leveling up. So remember how I was talking about the Maslow hierarchy of needs? I want to tie this back together. So you have physiological needs. It's the bottom of this pyramid, right? Physiological needs is on the bottom. Healing, connecting, and leveling up within that tier is an utmost priority, because you cannot build this big high-rise city, Chicago, on solid ground. You cannot. If you do, it's going to come crumbling down at some point. So physiological needs first. Then the second tier on that is financial safety. Okay, so financial safety. That's, by the way, Maslow hierarchy of needs is what every human needs to be happy. Safety, emotional safety, financial safety. So the thing is, how can you have safety when you have no money coming in? And how can you not have money coming in when you are still fighting for survival mentally, subconsciously, within your paradigm, in your body? How can you create this? See? Do you see how this all pays together? You have to get you have to get deeper than the surface level how-to training. You have to get into yourself without it being therapy. This is not, yes, we can talk about your trauma triggers. We can talk about abandonment. We can talk about all of that. It's not therapy. It is awareness and then taking action to where and how we are going to move through it. Okay, so we're going into, as Brene Brown says, into the swampland of the soul. We kind of walk around and we look around, and it's kind of like sticky, and we don't really want to be there. Yeah, but we have to kind of go there. We have to kind of go there to see what are we even dealing with. And then when we know what we're dealing with in the shadows of our soul, underneath the bed where the skeletons hide, like you can call it that way, once you understand what's going on there, with no shame, by the way, everything is private, everything is it can be like, my trainings are completely private. You submit your questions, you submit your problems, and your fears and all the things, and I create customized trainings around what people are submitting to me, and that way your privacy is completely protected. Okay, so you can go into the swampland of your soul and figure out what's going on without you actually having to stand there and say, I don't really want to, like, but that's really what's going on for me. Okay, so I really want you to understand and feel comfortable that this is a private, shame-free space that can really help you not just level up your business, but level up everything, your life, your feelings, your emotional peace, your happiness, your family's life with the children, your relationships, even all of that is going to be affected by the Walk It Free method. Okay, and once we have figured out those steps that we are supposed to be taking, that's now when we are going to level up, right? Okay, so when we have financial needs, when you level up, you are going to be able to make money. And when you have money, now you're calming down a little bit. Your confidence is going to grow because, oh, now out of the sudden we have results, right? We are going to get somewhere. Your financial stability is going to become taken care of. The third tier on that Maslow hierarchy of needs is going to be the love and belonging. Okay, think about it. How do you improve your love and belonging? How do you improve it? You have to start with yourself. You have to start with who am I and how do I love myself? Do I love myself? Do I not? And so many of you are lacking boundaries. So many of you are feeling and harboring resentment. So many of you are feeling lonely. You have social anxiety. There's a bunch of things that people are struggling with. And I do believe it starts by learning to be okay with yourself, to be valid with yourself, and then you are going to be able to create your own tribe, you create your team, you create your duplication, you create your customer base, you create family circle, friends, like whatever, right? There's so much possibility of whatever it is that you want to create that then will give you the needs that the love and belonging needs. I have met so many beautiful, amazing friends, and I thought I was so lonely for a long time. And I have met through this journey, I have met so many amazing, beautiful friends. And they're not there by accident. They are there because they are actually aligned with who I am. So we understand each other. I understand them, they understand me, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful thing. And I have also learned how to be okay with myself by myself. And that is the biggest blessing ever. Because if you are okay by yourself without needing anyone else's approval, without needing anything else from anyone, right? Now you can always level up because there's always going to be people and you are not stuck in scarcity mode because many of us are in scarcity mode. And that's again, what does scarcity do? Scarcity puts your nervous system under attack and you are going to show up with the fight, meaning blaming everybody and its world, meaning freeze, where you're just procrastinating or you're hiding somewhere, or you're having social anxiety, you just freeze, right? You can't do anything. Or you're fleeing, procrastinating, running away from things, quitting, not doing the work, or you're pretending to, the fawn, right? The fawn that is there doesn't go away, but also does not make any progress. That's a lot of entrepreneurs as well. So the method, Walk It Free, is obviously trademarked because I have invented it and it's something that I teach in my mentorship. Now, last but not least, I've made this mentorship only at this moment, at this time of this video, it's only $100 a month, okay? I don't know if I'm going to change the price eventually or not. I wanted to make it affordable for everyone. You're going to go to Target and you drop $100 without even flinching. You know, you are going to spend something on Amazon without even flinching, $100 is gone. You go to Starbucks, you know, why? Because these things make you feel good. They are having convenience factors, they are having quality factors, they're making you feel good, they're elevating your life. That is exactly what Walk It Free mentorship is supposed to do. It's supposed to elevate your life. What will you get with it? You are going to not only get customized coaching based on what your unique situation is going to be, you're getting a vault of old and past trainings for you to listen to, get involved in, really learning how to take steps to a life that you won't regret, learning that. So all of that is available to you. You will have daily alignments, That is like when I train something, you know, a lot of times we are not wanting to, or we can't take action right away, right? So I break these down into smaller portions every single day. So we have in the membership vault, we have the training, then we have daily implementation challenges. It's from the training, smaller pieces and chunks, so that you know exactly what you should be doing. And then if that is even too much for you, because it could be, you still get a daily small little alignment step, one little small step that you can do. And if it's only that you're reading it, it doesn't matter. But you know, the more you're exposing yourself to the trainings, the more you're hearing things while you're walking, while you know, and because it's fluent, this training is fluent, you can get the most out of that $100 that will elevate your life, not just your business, not just you making $1,000 a month. That's a byproduct that comes from you being healed and feeling good about yourself and leveling up your energy. That comes as a byproduct of you being you authentically, because see, when you show up as you, people are going to like you, and there's not going to be no fear, and there's not going to be no weirdness. People are going to like you, and you're going to be able to make friends. And see, you take care of your physiological needs, your financial needs, and your spiritual needs, like your love and belonging is also going to come just by you being authentic. So all three of these tiers of the Maslow hierarchy of needs are going to be met. And it's just quality of life will be leveled up. I promise you. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to book a free discovery call with me to one-on-one. We can talk about your unique situations. They should be in your email. And if not, I would love to hear some feedback from you. Yeah, invite other people, because my mission here, helping people taking steps towards a life they won't regret, is not just to make a small little impact. I want to make a big impact, because when you take a look at what is happening in the world right now, there's a lot of people feeling very insecure. There's a lot of people that are feeling very lost. There's a lot of children that don't really know what to do and how to do things. And it's something that I want to do my part on sharing. Okay, that's it. My dog is barking in the background. Walk it free. See you there.